Hey everybody, it's Kendra. Welcome to my channel if you're new, and welcome back if you've been here before. My video today is going to be a video about Whole30. This little program, you've maybe seen this book somewhere around. Whole30 is basically a program for 30 days where you cut out grains, dairy, alcohol, legumes, and sugar. Just like you're cutting out all kinds of processed refined stuff to sort of see how your body reacts to these foods. After 30 days, you then reintroduce some of these things if you want. If you don't want to continue eating them, you don't have to bring them back. But basically, a lot of these foods create inflammation in the body and can, show up as various health problems. So the goal is to figure out what you can eat without having any of these weird signs of inflammation. So anyway, I had done my first round of Whole30 a couple years ago when we lived in California, and I loved it. I felt really great. I was so happy we did it. But my husband and I just moved to Wisconsin. I'm from Wisconsin, and Wisconsin is not exactly known as being a very healthy state. So I found that after living here for about 4 months, I just didn't really feel super healthy. I found that I was eating a bunch of junk. Really delicious junk, but not the healthiest stuff. I was eating cheese, like a lot of cheese curds. Oh my God, there's this place when I go visit my parents halfway up between Madison and where my parents live, there's this amazing cheese factory, and they have cheese curds, deep fried cheese curds. Oh, so good. But anyway, I found myself not feeling so hot from like cheese and bread and butter and just ice cream and all kinds of stuff. When we lived in California, I was modeling, so I had to be very, very careful about what I was eating, but I'm not modeling anymore. So I was just like, oh, whatever, bread and butter, cool, no problem. But I found myself not feeling very healthy. What was I dealing with? Headaches and migraines. I would get these migraines, migraines with the spots. But then I would have this horrible headache for like 24 or 48 hours, and it didn't matter how much ibuprofen or Excedrin migraine or like legit migraine pills I took, the headache just stayed, and I was just miserable and could not do anything for a good chunk of time. Also just felt really sluggish, just tired. Even when I woke up, just felt kind of out of it, kind of tired. Sort of this feeling of being cloudy, not having any sort of like mental clarity, forgetful, just kind of off. Also, my skin was a hot mess. Felt like I was breaking out a ton, like definitely around my chin. I felt moody. Some days I would feel like super anxious, some days depressed, just like all over the place. Also, I just kind of felt bloated like all the time, just like my tummy is just like poofing out. I often felt nauseous as well, particularly after I would eat. If I would eat anything like bread or dairy, I just felt like nauseous, bloated, just not good. So anyway, that's how I felt before I did it, and that's why I decided I wanted to do it. So my video today is going to be talking about my first 15 days. Right now I'm on day 16, so I want to just quickly go day by day and talk about what I was experiencing, what I was feeling. Okay, so let's call it like day 0, so prep day. I remember it was a Sunday, and basically that day I just figured out my plan. I figured out what I was going to do. I got out the Whole30 book, I got out some cookbooks, looked online, just sort of got an idea of what I wanted to be making for meals. I wrote down a grocery list. It was a Sunday, so I did not want to go grocery shopping that day because I knew I'd have to go to Costco and Trader Joe's and Whole Foods, and those stores all are super busy on Sundays, so I said, okay, I will go first thing Monday morning. So day 1, I felt fine, like maybe a little bit headachy, but it's day 1, it's the first day of this, so you can't really expect to feel like terrible because the withdrawal symptoms haven't really kicked in. I got a ton of groceries that morning, was super busy in the morning, felt kind of tired in the afternoon. Day 2, felt a little more groggy, but not terrible. I already found myself feeling way less bloated, no headache. But another thing I found between like day 1, day 2, 3, 4, I found myself just not like craving any particular food because I like the taste. It was just kind of like, ooh, I want some chips, or ooh, I'm just gonna have some chocolate or some candy or something. So yeah, I think these first few days, it was mentally like, oh, I totally was just kind of mindlessly eating before. Not like huge things, but just like a little bit here and there. Okay, day 3, woke up, plenty of energy, took a long walk, felt fine. Had to go see a doctor that day. We just moved to Wisconsin, so I, wanted to find a doctor and just get a physical and get all squared away with medical stuff here. That was fine. Then I came home and had to deal with the insurance company. So I'm calling the insurance company, trying to find a lab that my insurance company covers, which is so frustrating. Anything with insurance or medical in this country is just super frustrating. So that day I did feel super irritated. And the whole time I was like on the phone with the lab and the insurance company and the clinic, I'm just like, I want some chocolate, I want some chocolate, I want some chocolate. So I was like, whoa, I really like stress ate before. But what I did, obviously, instead of eating chocolate, because chocolate's not allowed on Whole30, you can have kombucha. So I did have a kombucha, and it was like, whew, thank God, because that totally saved my day. So day 3, felt very annoyed, and that's normal around that time is when you start feeling like you want to kill everybody. You just hate everybody. So day 3, started feeling like that. Okay, day 4, I felt yucky. Felt okay when I woke up, but just felt like anxious and like irritated and annoyed with people and just like, ugh. I found myself like, I just finally forced myself, go outside, take a walk. That helped. And then I was, you know, fairly productive during the day, but still felt really annoyed with people. Day 5, same thing. Felt fine in the morning, had energy, but then had to go get groceries in the afternoon. Made the mistake of going to Trader Joe's and Whole Foods around 3 when all the school kids were getting out and these stores were busy and there were kids running everywhere, and I was just super frustrated and super irritated. But luckily my husband was with, so he sort of took lead on everything and he drove, so I didn't have to deal with that. Day 6 felt okay, like didn't feel as annoyed, but I felt, you know, like more energetic and pretty productive. Day 6 felt okay. Day 7 felt good in the morning, took a walk. I remember day 7, we did actually go to some open houses because obviously we want to buy a house here eventually. So we just were checking out what was available. I didn't eat lunch at a good time. We did all this running around and we were kind of everywhere. And I probably ate lunch about 2 hours later than I should have. I was really starving by the time I ate lunch. And then after I ate, I was just so tired, so out of it, headachy, just ugh. So I think I just felt like a bit yuck that day because I waited so long to eat. So the rest of that day just kind of rested and yeah, tried to feel better. Day 8, woke up, had energy in the morning, but I did kind of feel just like moody and like a little bit low energy later in the day, just a bit off, like depressed, like just kind of yucky. But on a positive note, I did start to see like my skin seemed a lot clearer than it had a week prior to that. You know, when I was like washing my face in the shower or just in the sink, I would just kind of feel like, wow, it's not as bumpy. Okay, day 9, woke up, felt okay, but I actually had to go get a blood test at that lab I talked about previously. Had to go get a blood test, and it was a fasting blood test, so I couldn't eat or drink anything before. So my appointment was at 9:30, which is way later than I would have preferred for a fasting blood test, but it was the only thing available. They didn't actually see me till 10, and then when I got in, they're like, oh, you were sitting here the whole time. Sorry, they never told us you were here. So I was just super frustrated. But I think my frustration was more so just like out of starvation. I was so hungry. So I was not a nice person to be around that day. But then I came home and ate lunch and everything was fine. Day 10 is when I sort of felt like all the yucky withdrawal stuff was kind of behind me. Like I only had one headache during that first week. I've actually only had that one headache during the whole first 15 days. So it was like, didn't have the headache, kind of like the bloat was gone. I didn't feel nauseous anymore. I was just starting to feel like physically better. Day 10, 11, 12, I felt fine. I felt way more patient with people and just more tolerant and just kinder and friendlier. Not so grumpy, not irritable, not irritated. Like days 4, 5, like 3, 4, 5, I was such a wench to be around. I was so grumpy. I was just like, stay out of my way. I'm hungry and I want to eat you. Actually, I wasn't hungry. It was just like, Day 10, 11, 12 felt fine. The night of day 12, I had the weirdest food dream. That's the only food dream I've had so far. And actually they say around that day is when you're going to have weird food dreams. I had this dream that I was at some party and they had baguette and like brie or camembert cheese. And I just like took this whole baguette and covered it in cheese and just mowed the whole thing down. And then after I mowed it all down, I was like, oh, I'm on Whole30. Oh my God, I gotta start again at day 1. And then I was like, oh, what should I do? Should I throw it up? No, I can't. And then I woke up and everything was fine. And I was like, oh, I didn't just mow down an entire baguette and wheel of brie. Okay, day 13. I did not actually get enough sleep the night before, probably because of that stupid baguette dream. But I found myself just like tired and kind of moody and depressed and anxious and just kind of like, ugh, yucky. But forced myself to eventually get out and take a walk, and that kind of helped, but it was just a weird day. Day 14 still felt a bit weird, but not depressed. I was just like annoyed and just like more angry than being like depressed. I just kind of felt like on day 14, like day 13, 14, 15 even, it was just like, okay, we're in the middle of the Whole30. These days are just kind of dragging on, and like, yeah, I just kind of want like a little piece of chocolate or a chip or just something here. Like, I feel like the bad stuff from week 1 was over, and now it's like, okay, you know, I sort of see, like, I understand my relationship with food and why I eat certain things at certain times. So it's just kind of like, ugh, this again, like just kind of annoyed with it. And day 15. So I think my day 15 actually was a really good test of my emotions on the Whole30, and here's why. When I woke up on day 15, actually it was Memorial Day, so everything was closed. When I woke up, I realized that one of my cats had thrown up 3 times during the night. There were like 3 piles of puke to clean up, and I saw that my husband had cleaned up another spot from the night before. So I sleep with earplugs, so obviously didn't hear my cat getting sick. And then the poor thing, I saw she like kind of had like some poop on her tail, and it was really gross, and it was like too much for her to clean herself. So I had to clean my cat's poopy butt, which was gross. And not fun, but I just found myself like, okay, you know, just more rational. I wasn't angry at the cat. I'm like, okay, she's sick, something's wrong, like, and I was trying to figure out what was wrong with her and how I could help her to feel better, because obviously like the vet was closed. And I sort of feel like before I did Whole30, if I had had this experience, I would have been freaking out, like panicking, oh my God, the cat's gonna die, like, and calling the vet and like calling like the emergency vet and all this stuff. But I just kind of was like, okay, let's just observe her. You know, she puked a bunch. Like, she obviously had some tummy problems. She probably ate something weird. You know, she was drinking water. So, and she seemed fine. Like, she seemed fairly active. And then by, you know, that evening she was eating again. So she was totally fine. But I was kind of impressed with myself. Like, I just felt way more rational, and I just wasn't like jumping to conclusions, and I was just way, way, way more even keel. So anyway, my cat is fine now and her butt is clean. So that's day 1 through 15. What have I sort of taken away from this experience thus far? I'm very affected by food. I'm very affected by sleep. And I feel like Whole30 is a really good way to just gain more awareness of your own body and how you are affected by what you're eating and sleep and just everything that you're doing to your body and just your physical health. For me, if I don't eat when I need to eat, if I go too long and like I just feel really, really hungry when I finally eat, it's not good. Also, if I don't get my 8 hours of sleep, oh, watch out, stay away. I need to be in nature. I actually thought of joining a gym, and I just, you know, during this whole 15-day period, I did a free gym trial for 7 days. And even if I worked out really hard and like got my endorphins going and my blood pumping, I still came home and was like, meh, I don't feel like amazing. So for me, like, I need to get outside. I need to have fresh air. I need to just like mentally clear my head. So for me, exercise is more like mental, and it cannot just be in a gym because it just doesn't work for me. It doesn't clear my mind. As far as like physical stuff, my skin is getting way clearer. I actually wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh my God, my skin actually kind of looks good. This is really cool. And it's not because of like products. It's definitely something internal. I still feel a little bit, you know, sometimes I have more energy than other days. So sometimes I do feel a bit tired. I still kind of feel a little bit tired after lunch, but it's not in that same way of being like, okay, I just ate, I need to take a nap. Like, it's sort of like, okay, I ate, I'm a little bit tired, maybe I'll rest a tiny bit, but it's not like full blown, I need to take a nap for 2 hours. Also, my body doesn't really feel super achy anymore. I feel I feel better. I mean, if I do like a bunch of squats or like I really like, you know, do something physical, I feel it, but it's not sort of this general like overall sense of just aches and pains and like my joints hurting. So I feel good with that. I also feel more clear in my head. Not as like forgetful, not as cloudy, just I'm much more focused and much more motivated. For example, one day recently, just a few days ago, I was sewing a pair of shorts and I've never actually made a pair of shorts before. And it was pretty frustrating. Like it was a pretty complicated pattern and I had no idea what I was doing, but it was kind of like, okay, it's okay. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to figure it out. And then after 6 hours, I had a really cute pair of shorts and I did it. And I find myself like before, I kind of probably would have been like, okay, I'm not doing this. This is too hard. It's too complicated. I don't know what I'm doing. I give up. But I just kind of feel like now I can sort of push through like more complicated sort of tasks. And just a quick talk about food, what I'm actually eating. I've been eating a lot of stuff. I mean, obviously it's like heavy on like meat and fish and eggs and veg, some fruits. The main things I've been eating that I've become obsessed with, chicken salad, homemade chicken salad. You have to get Whole30 compliant mayonnaise or you can make your own. I'm gonna do a video on my Whole30 chicken salad. It's so yummy. And we've also been doing a lot of like lettuce wraps. So I'll buy the big heads of butter lettuce and then rip those off. And then, you know, I put chicken salad in those, or I'll make some type of like tuna avocado mashed up stuff and put those in there. I've been using like venison or ground beef and mixing, you know, cooking that up and putting salsa and a bunch of spices in it to do sort of like a taco style wrap. I also have ground turkey that I'm gonna try tonight to do in wraps too. Also a lot of avocados, some eggs, not like crazy with the eggs. Also, I have been making a fair amount of beef jerky. Yeah, I think I've done one batch per week. I actually need to get some more beef to do another batch now. But I did find a recipe online that I'll link down below for Whole30 compliant beef jerky. So there you go. That's sort of what's happening in my world during these first couple weeks on Whole30. I will do another video in a couple weeks talking about day 16 to day 30 and just finishing up Whole30 and what I'm feeling. Also, I do plan on posting various Whole30 recipes that I come up with, like my chicken salad one. So keep an eye out for those throughout the summer. So anyway, if you are doing Whole30, please, please, please let me know about your progress. Let me know what you're loving to eat and everything. I love this program. I definitely see results and changes in my body and my mind and just my relationship with food and my emotions and everything. So I cannot recommend this highly enough. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!